walks more. In the apartment complex we were in, you know, we went to the hot tub a lot and met people and worked out together in the gym and stuff like that. And it was a great way to start off our marriage. And so after 5 years, Grandma showed up with an old TV and we took it. That's basically how that worked. But then also on another thing, it was great that Michelle introduced me to things. She introduced me to camping. I didn't camp growing up, and that was an activity she did growing up, and I wasn't really, I was a little reluctant to kind of get involved in that, and it was her that introduced it to me and to the family, and to this day, now we're campers. We love it, and it's a great way for us to spend time together, and again, get away from everything. So, good job, guys. So anyways, this leads to the next R, remember 3 R's, relaxation, rapport. Okay, so Michelle's going to take it from here.
Okay, so rapport is reached when you are ready and happy to share aspects of yourself that are precious and vulnerable. You'll sharpen your communication skills in this phase and develop a harmonious oneness. This will probably come easier for one of you than the other, like it was easier when we first were married for me to talk about things more than it was for Rich. But, you know, it is, you know, as you grow in your relationship, you know, you both need to do this. But there are some basic rules for communicating. We've kind of touched on this before, but let me just repeat them. It's important that you never repeat to anyone else the things that your spouse shares with you privately. That you just really keep the confidence there together. And especially when you're newly married, you know, you're used to talking with all kinds of other people regularly, and you just have to really be conscious of keeping things private in your marriage. Number 2 is give your spouse your total enthusiastic attention and listen with interest. So you're really paying attention. Okay, you do not interrupt or jump to conclusions. You acknowledge that you understand even if you disagree, and you repeat back his or her thoughts and feelings to let them know that you understand. Lastly, you be careful to never sound as if you're heaping blame on your spouse. And it was funny because it's like Rich could write this list. These are his rules for communicating.
So, you know, why are these rules so important? So what's precious and vulnerable to you? I would say discussions, you know, a good place to start with your spouse is discussions of dreams and goals, right? You know, the first person you should talk to about those deepest dreams, you know, what's that thing that you've always wanted to do but you've never done it? First person you want to talk to is your spouse about those things. And if you're relaxed and you have rapport with them, what a great time to just sit around on the couch or wherever you like to take a hike or whatever and say, hey, you know what I've always wanted to do, and you know I've never really told anybody about this. That's the true mark of a friendship right there. Somebody who will listen to that and not think you're crazy. You know, I can't tell you how many times Michelle has heard different things from me. And sometimes I just need to say them. It's not necessarily something I'm maybe going to do, but it's in my mind and I just want to tell somebody about it. And on the flip side of that, with every dream, what's keeping us from them, right? It's our fears. What another, again, a great source of somebody who you can freely talk about your fears. You know, Michelle has sometimes asked me, well, what keeps you from it? You know, those are tough things. You don't want to talk about that part of it, right? But it's kind of nice to have somebody who say, you know, to be honest with you, I think this is what keeps me from it. And now I have somebody I can confide with. That's why it's so important that you keep that information there, right? Whatever it is, until you're ready to share those dreams with somebody else. So it starts there. It starts in the home. It starts with you and your spouse. So if you haven't had those kind of discussions, I really encourage you guys, get away and begin to talk about dreams and goals. If there's something that's way down deep, get it out and talk about it. Because sometimes if you don't, it comes back later. And then you start having this regret of things that you knew you wanted to do. You never shared it with anybody. Get it out in the open. Go ahead and start talking about it with your spouse. Okay, so we're on to our third phase of our relationships, and this is called revelation phase.
So this is a phase where you truly understand each other. You recognize your spouse's unique gifts, talents, strengths, and weaknesses. You freely open up to each other. You are unafraid to lean on, to trust, to seek fulfillment of personal needs and desires, and you can discern what will best meet your mate's needs.
Yeah, with that last point, I just wanted to point out when Michelle said you can discern what will best meet your mate's needs, you know, I think about that's what we're trying to do in this class. You know, think about all the different topics we've covered in this class, everything from covenant relationships, the 5 love languages, love and respect series. To me, the whole idea behind that is to be more discerning when I talk with Michelle. You know, are we in this situation because Michelle doesn't feel loved right now, or I didn't feel respected, or I'm not meeting her love language, which I know, you know, and I'm choosing not to meet it. And so this stage of revelation, this is a really deep stage of relationship, and it's ongoing. You don't wake up one day and you say, I got it. Really what you do is you wake up throughout life and you get it and you get it some more and you got it again. But it's also very important to realize that whatever can move forward can also roll backwards, which gets you all the way back to that relaxation stage and the rapport stage. You can actually lose those things if you're not fostering them and developing them. So I think George calls it the reward stage of marriage. You know, I think that's what revelation is happening. This is when you're being rewarded and you really feel like you know your spouse in this very deep level. But again, I think you got to keep in mind that it can be lost. So continue to go back to these other stages. You know, sitting down, turning the TV off, having good rapport, being relaxed, and get to know your spouse at a deeper level. Did you want to add something?
Well, obviously it's an ongoing journey and a lifelong process. This isn't, you know, like you meet. But none of the loves of marriage offers more consistent pleasure than Phileo love, according to the book. But really, you know, you can see that too when you think about different stages of your life, that this is a really important part of a marriage. And Rich covered the rest of my stuff. So.
And so what we're going to do again is turn it back over to the tables, let you guys continue your Phileo love, and spend some time in prayer with each other. And we look forward to agape love next week.
That's right. Very good.